Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jumpin here. This is going to be a Mass Effect 3 gameplay commentary. Today I'm going to be using the Batarian Sentinel, one of the new characters. Freaking awesome. I love him. He's probably, I don't know, like they're all really good, but this guy's one of my favorites hands down. I can't rate him yet, but he is amazing. So let's go ahead and get into his powers right away. Alright, to start off, one thing I wanted to say is I did reset him. And by doing that, I was able to get rid of blade armor. Now, blade armor, I don't really like it. I think it's kind of pointless. You know, it does return melee damage, but you have to take the damage, and you'll die a lot doing that. As you can see, I have 5 points in all of these. You know, it kind of sucks I don't have 6 points in any of them. I'm only level 16, but all right, let's go ahead and get into it. Let me start with the most important power, his best one he has, really, submission net. His power is amazing. It's like a stasis in a way where, you know, you can hit a phantom or any enemy with the net and it will freeze them unless it's an armored target. But what it does do that stasis doesn't do is that it actually will inflict damage and also really mess up armored targets. Now the first option you're going to have is either incapacitate, which will make it 8.8 seconds of freeze. But I really don't like that, only because I tried it, and you know, it's just like stasis. If you do enough damage to them, they will break out of it. So because of that, I go for damage, which is, if you look, increases the damage quite a bit. Now for your second option, you're going to have between recharge speed and damage and slow. Now recharge speed will bring this down to about 3.2 seconds, something like that. Which, if you can't tell, the recharge is really long on it. But I honestly, it's way better. The damage and slow is so much better because it does get the damage up to 743, which is ridiculous. And also it slows armor targets by 30%, which is awesome. It's really great against Banshees, really great against, really just Banshees. Like Banshees and Brutes and Reaper enemies just fucking rapes. And then it just does a lot of damage to them. So that is amazing. It is a really amazing perk that it gets. Now for this final option, you're going to have shield and damage, shield damage, which I don't really think is necessary, and then electrical field. This is definitely the better one if you see what it does. It deals 192 points of damage across 6 meters every 1.5 seconds. Yeah, and that is amazing. It actually will stun them like an overload, or like a chain overload. For your Batarian Enforcer, I just went for power damage. It's pretty much what you want to go. For your fitness, just go for all shields. If you can't tell, he has a pretty nice amount of shields. I don't know how much he would get with the last level, but he has a really good amount. Now, for the most important power for the video is going to be Shockwave, and I love the fact he gets Shockwave. The first thing I'm going to go for Shockwave is going to be Radius. It's going to increase it to 2.6 meters wide. That's really amazing for that power. Next up is going to be Reach, which is going to increase it to 15 meters range, and you know that's awesome as well. And for the last one, you should go for Power Recharge Speed, and that's pretty much it. All right, guys. You know, but like this guy's really good. So we're about to get into the gameplay. It's going to be Firebase Glacier against Reapers, and you know. All right. So let me go ahead and show you one more thing real quick, which is going to be the weapon. I'm going to be using the Vindicator, one of my favorite assault rifles. I'm using it mainly for the 200%, if you can see. And in equipment, what I recommend is going to be Incendiary Ammo 3, assault rifle ammo, and the most important one is going to be Power Efficiency, which is going to reduce the recharge speed. Because like I said, the net really does have a long recharge, 3.6 seconds. That's a really ridiculous long recharge, but it's such an overpowered and godly, you know, godly move that he gets. He's definitely one of the, in my opinion, definitely one of the best new characters. Like I would rate him probably in the top 2, maybe even the best one, because he just is really good for tech and for bionic. Shockwave is one of the best bionic powers, hands down, for detonating bionic explosions. And one thing we're going to be doing in this video is that we're going to be playing with one Drell, which is going to be my buddy Drew, and then it's going to be one Asari Justicar, which is going to be Snide again, if you remember from the Vanguard video. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna, the Reeve with the Shockwave and the bubble, like, it's gonna be ridiculous. This is gonna be pretty enjoyable. Alright, so if you can't tell, like, what I'm gonna be doing primarily is going to be shockwaving. Shockwave does come back pretty quick. It will come back way quicker though once you get the recharge speed, you know, at level 6. But you know, and it's just against Reapers, it's a great power in general because it's gonna be able to knock down Husk and just really annihilate them. Now, early on in this game, I had my mic muted and I didn't realize that I did, because normally when I play with my friends and stuff, we like to communicate, we like to figure out, you know, what to target, especially if we're trying to go for combos. I mean, like I said, the most fun you'll probably ever have in this game is when you actually can work well with, you know, teammates and stuff. And You know, one thing I really do like doing is I really do like being a character that can detonate, and there's the net right there. As you can see, it will freeze the target, and I think it can get you tech burst. I'm not too sure yet. I haven't really tried that yet, but one thing I really like to do, I really like to be the character who actually will detonate, because like I'm really good at, and this is important for you and all your friends who you might play with if you're going to try something like this, is the person who is going to be the one using shockwave or the one using like throw or whatever it is for bionic explosions need to be the one who has, you know, is good at, for one, kind of aiming your power, and also being able to realize who is hit and what is the priority target. You know what I mean? Like, it's just what it is. I mean, obviously you're going to be spamming a lot, so you're going to hit most of it, but you know, it does require a little bit of some skill. Like, you know, spamming power is never really take much, but like right here, you know, I think I was still muted. It takes me to like the third wave before I figured it out. Now another thing we're also going to be doing in this video is going to be using, all three of us are going to be using Vindicators with incendiary ammo on, which is going to be great because you know, incendiary ammo is definitely, besides armor piercing, it's definitely the best you know, ammo type to use against Reaper enemies. And what it's going to be able to do is, because of the bionic explosions, we're actually going to be getting bionic and fire explosions at the same time, which will just do a retarded amount of damage to the you know, to the enemies. Now yeah, now you might think, you know, detonation might be really good for this. I do highly, you know, I highly don't recommend it, because as you can see with the reach, I'm able to hit targets that are really far away, and it's just kind of necessary, you know, just to have that ability to you know, be able to hit targets from far, because if you get in close, like you know, if shockwave is a very close range power if you don't go for reach, and you really don't want, you know, to get in close against like you know, banshees and brutes and stuff. That would be no good. Like you know, so you're just gonna be able to really do some damage from a distance with that, and it's just a great power in general. It will knock down enemies. It will, you know, guardians won't be a problem. You'll you know, flick back their shield, all that kind of good stuff. And there's Snide going ahead and punching me in the face like he always does. Now, one great thing about the Asari Justicar is for uploads and just in general, you know, she can throw out the bubble, which can pretty much protect us, and also like just, you know, really deal some like major damage. You know, like that setup. I will be using that character pretty soon here to show you the setup for her. But yeah, so far, she is just hands down the best adapt probably in the whole game. The drill adapt's still really good, and his cluster nades are pretty like awesome, but you know, just the ability that she has to set up that giant bubble that can be non-stop, you know, bionic explosions is ridiculous. Now the only downside of that bubble I didn't know about, which Snide actually told me about, is that you can't actually throw that bubble out at any big enemy. Like you can't run up to an Atlas and just throw it out. Now you might be wondering, like, well, let me go ahead and tell you about this. Yeah, you can't run up to a Banshee and throw it out point blank next to it. You have to throw it out in front of it and let it walk into it. That's one thing you do have to do. That's the only way they made it kinda not so broken, but it's still like ridiculously broken, because with a Banshee, just throw it out in front of you and the Banshee will get into the bubble. Now you might be wondering, okay, you know, obviously I praised the net a lot. You know, and I ain't using it much, which is true, but that's mainly because, you know, we're doing bionic explosions. We're trying to work as a team, you know, to really get this shit done, and we're doing work, as you can see. But here's the thing, though, is that in general, though, the net is hands down his best power. It's really good against Cerberus, obviously phantoms and stuff, if you can hit them. Now they might be a little hard to hit, but if you can time it right and you can do it right, they're actually not that bad. It does take a little bit getting used to with the net to, you know, figure out how to time it to hit certain enemies that dodge a lot. It's really a very close range power. That's something else you got to keep in mind. If you try to shoot it from distance, they will have a lot of time to dodge it. Up close, they really have no chance to dodge it. But one thing I did want to say though about it, and like I need to help real bad right here. Reapers can be they can really cluster you, and that's one great thing about that bubble, is that they will rush into it. Same with Geth. Geth will also rush into the bubble and just get annihilated. But yeah, and there's his melee. His melee is actually also really ridiculous. He has one of the strongest melees in the entire game. It takes a long time to pull off, but like you'll literally pop a dude's head off with that. I think, yeah, he literally will explode their head. That's how strong it is. Now, the main thing about this net, though, is that against Reapers, it is very, very necessary. Reason why is because you're going to be using it on Brutes and Banshees, and that will slow the Banshee. Banshees are only an issue because they get in close and they have that chance of assassinating you. Once you actually hit it with the net, look how slow like this Brute's moving. Once you hit the bigger enemies with the net, they just really, they can't do anything. Like, they're really not a threat for real, and it does a massive amount of damage to them. I believe that's where that damage at 700 or whatever damage it has, I think that's where it actually comes from. It's for the bigger enemies, like the armored enemies, it does that much damage to them. I think in general it does maybe like 200, 300 points of damage at the most to non-armor enemies. Because, you know, if it did 700 damage like every second, you know, or, you know, if it had a DPS of 700, that would just be ridiculous. Like, that would kill every enemy like in 2 seconds. It is just a really cool power in general when you think about it. It's like that, you know, they really did a great job, I think, on this guy, because Submission Net is definitely, like, you know, it's just cool. Like, when you think about it, you might be thinking, like, okay, it's like a, you know, sci-fi, you know, electrical net that wraps around somebody and just squeezes them to death and cuts them as, a, you know, something like that. And that's one reason why I wanted to try him right away. And the second I used him, I was like, wow, this guy is really good. Like I said, against Cerberus, 90% of the time you will be using Submission Net. But if you want to play against Reapers, you know, you definitely want to be using Shockwave for the bionic explosions. And also, you know, if you do run around with, you know, he's just really versatile, and that's really what the Sentinels do. That's like one of the things about the Turian Sentinel is that, you know, he has overload for detonating, to detonate tech burst, and he has, and you're gonna see the net once again. And like you know, like I said, look how much damage. It just does so much damage. It's ridiculous. But yeah, you know, like the Turian Sentinel can actually detonate tech bursts and can also detonate or set up bionic explosions. And it's just, you know, he's versatile. He's a Sentinel. That's what he's supposed to do. And that's really like the beauty of it. Now right here, you know, we're kind of in a really bad spot because we have enemies behind us. But once this thing loses its barrier, I'm gonna hit it with the net, and it will pretty much take it out. Like you know, make it totally not a threat because it can't really like get into, you know, get close to us very quickly. And yeah, all right. So right here, I'm gonna go ahead and just take cover for a second. One thing about this map is that there's a couple spots that if you're gonna try Reapers on this map. Now this map is hands down one of the best maps in the game, to be honest, but also one of the worst at the same time. It's great because you can really beat this map very quickly because it's so small, but because it's so small, you can have a lot of problems too with this map. That's, you know, it just depends on how it goes. A good example is that, you know, it's so small that if a Banshee rushes you too quickly, you know, it can definitely assassinate you, especially on gold. But I'm probably gonna get some gold gameplay with this guy, to be honest, because it's probably against Reapers. So let me know what you think of that. You know, I haven't unlocked anything new today. I really haven't been playing much, but you know, anything that you guys want to see still, like I said, I still have the Geth Engineer, which I'm totally down to use, and I still have the Asari, which I'm sure a lot of people after this gameplay is probably going to want to see that, just because, you know, they want to know how, you know, Snide set up his Asari, because that's the way I would set it up, just to show you the offensive, like, Bubble of Doom Asari Justicar, which, it's just amazing. It's just, it's like, honestly, it's way better that way. Like, just because, just Reeve on that character with the ability to have, you know, and actually this is going to be a wave where I think we're going to get kind of messed up a lot. Like, I think in general we go down quite a bit this wave, only because there's so many brutes, and there's like a ton of Ravengers that are just kind of messing us up. But, you know, it's funny because, like, this is the only wave we actually, I think, have any trouble with. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, like, the Asari Justicar is just, like, you might think that, you know, hey, the damage protection is, you know, you can make, you know, honestly, you can make a build off of that, and that would be really good as well, because with the combination of Reeve and that bubble, if you stood in the bubble and had Reeve with all the damage protection, you would have 80% damage protection, which would make her an absolute tank. Like, she probably wouldn't be like a Krogan tank, but she would definitely not die easily. It'd take him a long time to kill her. But, I do think the offensive Asari will be better though, just because she's so, you know, versatile, and I'm gonna get dropped. I thought that Cannibal was dead, and the second Actually, I hit it with a shockwave. It got up and instantly meleeed me. It was really annoying. And, you know, like I said, this is definitely the only way that we're going to have any trouble with. And, you know, getting up your teammates when you have no shield will definitely get you killed. But at least I was able to get 2 of them up before I actually went down again. You know, as you can see, though, like, in general, you know, like I said, this is a terrible wave. But, I don't know. It's just, Wave 6, for Reapers can be really annoying. It was so bad that, I mean, if you look at the time, like, we're literally running out of time here. But that's just how, that's how gay this map can be at times. It can be really kind of messed up in the sense that, you know, it's just so small. Like, the spawns can be really dumb and just can really, you know, annoy the crap out of you. Anyway, but yeah, we just completed the objective, so that's all that matters. And now we can pretty much, you know, just the main thing is this: is that you definitely want to stay with your teammate if you're gonna, you know, if you're gonna go for bionic explosions. You really do need to stay with your teammates as much as possible, especially on a map like this, because this is gonna be the map where you're gonna want to, you know, the way you want to play this map. I'll give you some tips about the map. One of my buddies was telling me, you know, one thing for these videos I should do is tell you how to play the maps, or at least the way I play the map. If you wanted to try it, I mean, obviously you can see in the video how we played the map, but I can also tell you a little bit about it. All right, initially we always like to block this top part. You'll see us every wave run to the top, and then pretty much then after this, most of the time I'll check down here, and they won't always spawn down at that spawn. But they might spawn in that like other room with the ammo box on the right. And if they do that, you know, then they just kind of like run around and stay together. Like, that's the main thing of this, as you can see. And that Banshee got freaking worked. Like I said, it's also, the other thing is the bubble. Once the Banshee gets into that bubble, you know, every time they reeve, it will cause a bionic explosion. I think it's every 1 second or 1.2 seconds. It gets hit, you know, it's in the bubble, like you can hit it with another explosion, but that's absolutely ridiculous, that it does that. And I just hit her with the net, and now she's just totally screwed. That's the beautiful part about that net, is that the second they're hit with that net, it's over for them. This room right here that we were just in, you'll see us in this room quite a bit in this gameplay, because it's just one of those areas that you can definitely retreat into, and you know, just do a lot of damage from that room. Now you might get clustered and like totally effed if a you know, if a Banshee gets in that room with you, but hopefully that won't happen. If it doesn't, then you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Anyway, yeah, like right there, Sniper's gonna try to grab that guy. That's actually really confusing. It happens to me a lot, but yeah, you can't actually, I don't think you can grab guys from that angle. You can do it from the opposite angle, though, so it's really kind of dumb in a way. You know, the secret to getting the fire explosions with the incinerating rounds is that once they're actually caught on fire, like, you know, and you know them when they're on fire because they'll be like, oh, damn, I'm on fire! You know what I mean? Like, they'll do some dumb crap like that. Once they do that, like, that motion of just waving and waving around, then you know they're on fire. And then if you hit them with a power that can actually kill them, and you know, the best powers for that normally are grenades, but a bionic explosion combined with that will also, you know, be enough to kill them. They'll actually explode into fire, and also can explode into, like, you know, the bionic explosion. And the fire explosion, I believe, has the most damage. It just has like the wackest radius, like, out of all the explosions, and it just doesn't hit shit. Right here, like, you know, like with this guy, the main thing you, like I said, you want to do is that you want to primarily shockwave if you're going to play against Reapers, but the second you see a brute is definitely the time to hit it with the net. Now right there, I didn't do the net because I didn't really feel like it was going to be necessary, but you know, because once they're close enough, then you want to kill them as quickly as possible. But you know, if he's far away like that, then I can hit him with the net, and then look, he's a freaking turtle. Like, he's like, you can't even, like, you know, like, you can kill him so quick before he can do anything about it. Like, you know, like, this room and this area right here is definitely a great position to hold down the majority of the time. And like also the other thing, like I said, the reach really does matter. If you can't tell, like, if I didn't have reach right here, I don't know if I would have been able to hit those guys. And just having it really helps, like, a lot. So, you know, Ravengers are also, like, They're really not that bad to kill. Like if you hit their like sacks, you can kill them pretty easily. They take a massive amount of damage from when you shoot them in the sacks, but the downside is that they let out the swarmers, and they can do, you know, the swarmers can be really annoying. Now this bubble also, a good little tip about the bubble and the Justicar is that if the swarmers, like right here, if they actually walk in this bubble, because of the warp damage it does, it will actually kill all the swarmers, and you don't have to worry about them. So that is something to keep in mind. I mean, that's a really awesome part about the Asari is, you know, swarmers really won't affect you if you're in the bubble. Alright, as you can tell, we're pretty much rolling through this at this point, like, pretty easily. Wave 7 and 8 was really not an issue. Wave 6 has really been the only problem that we've had, but, you know, sometimes that happens. Like, it's really random, like how certain waves you might have problems on, the other ones you don't. Now right here, Snai's going to run down there to put the bubble out, which is a, you know, pretty decent strategy, but initially I think he should have maybe just reaved and then ran down there, but you know, it doesn't really matter. It works. Like I said, you know, the bubble's going to stay down there. That bubble lasts, I believe, for like a whole minute, so you know, like, now this is a bad spot, but luckily she chased Drew, and you know, she was just going after him, and you know, that was awesome that actually happened. And then boom, I hit her with net, so now, you know, she'll take a lot of damage from it and also not be able to really do anything. Like, that's like I said, the net is really amazing. Like, I hope you can see that. You know, I can also give you some gameplay with this guy, maybe on servers if you wanted to see that, because that's when like the net really is awesome. Because against servers, it just murks phantoms and just murks the crap out of a lot of different enemies. Here's going to be another Banshee. You know, once her shield's gone, now I can go ahead and hit her with the net. And, you know, she's easy to hit with the net, too. And, you know, she's just going to be totally screwed. If you even notice, she doesn't even really move. She just kind of stands there and just takes it. And it just totally eliminates her from, you know, having that fear of being assassinated and stuff. Another thing you can also do with the net, which is also a great strategy, is to just hit, if you're about to die, hit him with the net and just take cover. Just let, you know, by the time that the net wears off, you're going to be able to pretty much get your shields back. Reapers are definitely really annoying enemies. There's no question about that. Like, I do want to do some gold gameplay with maybe like a couple of these people, but you know, I think initially I might start each of, if you say, you know, I really want to see the Geth engineer, I'll probably end up just doing a silver with him and showing you silver first, and then in the future Geth, but I mean then gold. I said Geth, but you know, then gold. But alright, in wave 10 though, this is when you're gonna have a lot of problems with Banshees, like, because this is when the majority of them come, like, and they come in groups of 2, and that's always sucks. But yeah, this is definitely the way you want to rock it. Now, if you might notice, I haven't used one rocket this game, and I have 0, because that's literally, I have 0 rockets. And because, you know, at this point, I don't even care. I don't even want the rockets. And like right here, Snide's gonna get sucked in by a Banshee, but luckily, Drew pulled out a clutch little rocket and saved him. But yeah, that's the thing, guys, is that, you know, like, I have no rockets, and I don't see myself getting any in the future, because I'm just buying premium Spectre packs and Spectre packs to try to get the new characters and stuff. I don't really want to sit there and waste time buying veteran packs, and I'm really disappointed that they didn't come out with an equipment pack of some sort this week. And I mean, I don't know, they really need to like understand that everybody needs that stuff. You know, for the people who've been playing this game like I have, you know, which would be a lot. Then, you know, you're definitely going to have some type of equipment problems, you know, like, especially if you play gold a lot. Like, that's because, like, in every gold game I use about maybe 4 to 5 rockets primarily, especially if I record. When I'm recording and stuff, I like to use the rockets just to try to get as much of a high score as possible, you know, for the video's sake. And, you know, it just ends up with me running out of rockets and stuff. And at this point, like I said, I don't really know if I'm going to have much of any, but anyway, yeah, like I was saying though, at this point, now that the Banshees are all dead, like, you can actually kind of milk it. I think we are actually going to milk it a little bit here. You know, and why not? Because it's going to get you more experience, and, you know, everybody wants to level up and stuff. Especially, I really wanted to level up this game, because I mean, I really wanted to max out all these powers. Like, you know, this guy really, at level 18, this guy is just broken. He really will be, because then you'll have maxed out, you know, net, maxed out shockwave, and, you know, at level 19, he'll have maxed out fitness. Or, you know, you could just skip the last level of shockwave and go for the fitness. I don't really know how much health and shields he's going to have, so if anybody knows that, you can maybe leave a comment and let me know how much health and shield does the barrier, the Batarians get, you know, when you max out their stuff. Right there is going to be a fire explosion, which was awesome. Yeah, the bubble's just awesome, man. It's just so, it's so amazing. Like, well, it's actually the spear, I guess, the bionic spear. But yeah, I just gotta always call it the bubble, probably, because it's the bubble of doom. You know, on this map though, they will constantly spawn. This is a hot spawn right here, and it's in this room. And this is actually gonna be kind of nice, to be honest. Just running in the room and just like, I mean, that's the beauty of Reeve. Reeve just hits everything, and Shockwave is definitely, like I said, is the best detonating power, because it can get, you know, let's say you cluster, let's say you hit 4. I'm actually gonna have some trouble right here, but just, you know, when you're in trouble, just take some cover and, you know, and call a teammate over, and you can definitely do some work. But the beautiful thing about Shockwave and Reeve together is that, you know, if you Reeve, let's say one person Reeved 4 enemies, which is very possible because it has a huge radius. If I Shockwave and the Shockwave hits all 4 of them because I have radius and range on it, yeah, you know, that's going to be 4 bionic explosions, like pretty much all at once, and they all will detonate. It can detonate, you know, like 2 to 3 to 4 bionic explosions. And if you do that, then yeah, that person's going to get a quad bionic explosion kill, or, you know, you would get a quad shockwave kill, depending on, you know, how the game wants to give it to you. Like, that's just kind of how this game works sometimes. Alright, at this point we're actually down to 30 seconds, so we decided to go ahead and run down here and just try to get this last objective. You know, you gotta be a little careful. You don't want to, like, you know, get too distracted. But you know, like, I mean, when you notice, the one thing about this net too is that when I hit them with the net and I freeze them, they take, it seems like either they take a lot more damage from shooting them, or the second that their shield's gone, you know, they just start to take massive damage just in general from the DPS of the net. But right there is a great example of that. I just got at least 2 bionic explosions at once, maybe 3, you know, and then we're just gonna keep rolling with it. I mean, like, look at that. That was just, I mean, this is amazing. And having 2 people Reeve is always great. I love the fact they gave the Asari Reeve, because that's honestly, like, they needed to have an Asari without stasis. You know, stasis is not like super amazing necessary. Now right now we're gonna have a boxing match. You know, I mean, I don't know, the Batarian would totally win because he has a giant haymaker. Alright, so now this is gonna be wave 11, the last wave. Now the thing about wave 11 though is that this is the wave you really got to be super careful against Reapers, because you do not want to get assassinated, because that's gonna cost you full extraction. But I mean, I don't really think full extraction is everything. It's just an extra 10,000 points if you know, it's just only 10,000 points if, you know, if you still get the 2 people in there, you're gonna get partial, which is 5,000, and with the full extraction, it's just 10,000. Now right here, I think that someone's just gonna go ahead and rock it. I didn't really think that was necessary, but you know, you're not gonna do any damage unless you can get a bionic explosion on a, you know, on a Banshee. It's just what it is. And right here, yeah, you're gonna this shit's awesome. Like, the second, there we go, hit him with the net, and he's just totally screwed. Like, this is what it is. Now, this is a problem. Now, this is a moment where you have to rock it. You know, if a Banshee gets into this room, you take a lot of risk of, like, pretty much dying. But, you know, you can pretty much camp in this room for the most part until you can just make the mad dash for the extraction. You don't want to sit in the extraction, though, or be around the extraction against Reapers, because they really will swarm in there and just screw you. And you know, everybody will get, or you know, a couple people might get assassinated in that process. So at this point, you know, you just make the mad dash for it, and this just kind of like hold them off. And like there we go with the bubble. The bubble is awesome. And I don't really know how that submission net works. I think you actually have to get them down to armor to slow them with it. So that's why you have seen me actually wait to get the Banshees down to the armor. Alright, and well, that's going to be pretty much game. So it was definitely a great game. I thought like it was, you know, really awesome. And the Batarian is definitely amazing. There's no question about that. Very versatile and all that good stuff, but you know, I don't know. He's awesome. So anyway, guys, that's gonna be it though. So please comment, please like, please subscribe, and like always, have a nice day.